Joseph made the best of his situation as a slave in Egypt, earning the trust of his master until his master's wife accused him falsely of assaulting her, and he was quickly thrown into prison. In spite of his worsening situation, Joseph continued to rely on God and succeeded in whatever situation he found himself. Welcome back to the program, everybody. I'm Reverend Said, and today we're going to start our reading at Genesis chapter 39, verses 1 through 18, Joseph in Potiphar's house, and Genesis chapter 39, verses 19 through 23. Joseph is put into prison. If you ain't did it already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like, share, and comment on any video on this channel. All right, let's go ahead and jump into our reading of Genesis chapter 39, verses 1 through 18. When Joseph was taken to Egypt by the Ishmaelite traders, he was purchased by Potiphar, an Egyptian officer. Potiphar was captain of the guard for Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. The Lord was with Joseph, so he succeeded in everything he did, and he served in the home of his Egyptian master. Potiphar noticed this and realized that the Lord was with Joseph, giving him success in everything he did. This pleased Potiphar, so he soon made Joseph his personal attendant. He put him in charge of his entire household and everything he owned. From the day Joseph was put in charge of his master's household and the property, the Lord began to bless Potiphar's household for Jacob's sake. All of his household's affairs ran smoothly, and his crops and livestock flourished. So Potiphar gave Joseph complete administration responsibility over everything he owned. With Joseph there, he didn't worry about a thing except what kind of food to eat. Joseph was very handsome and a well-built young man, and Potiphar's wife soon began to look at him lustfully. "Come and sleep with me," she added. She demanded, but Joseph refused. "Look," he told her, "my master trusts me with everything in this entire household. No one here has more authority than I do. He has held back nothing from me except you, because you are his wife. How could I do such a wicked thing? It would be a great sin against God." So she kept putting the pressure on Joseph day after day, but he refused to sleep with her, and he kept out of her way as much as he could. One day, however, no one else was around when he went in to do his work. She came and grabbed him by his cloak, demanding, "Come sleep with me." Joseph tore himself away from her, but he left his cloak in her hand, and he ran from the house. When she saw that she was holding his cloak and he had fled, she called out to her servants. Soon all the men came running. "Look," she said, "my husband has brought this Hebrew slave here to make fools of us. He came into the room and tried to rape me, but I screamed. When he heard me scream, he ran outside and got away, but he left his cloak behind with me." She kept the cloak with her until her husband came home. Then she told him the story. That Hebrew slave you have brought into our house tried to come in and fool around with me, she said. But when I screamed, he ran outside, leaving his cloak with me. Wow. Genesis chapter 39, verses 19 through 23, Joseph gets put in prison. Potiphar was furious when he heard his wife's story about how Joseph had treated her. So he took Joseph and threw him into prison where the king's prisoners were held. And there he remained. But the Lord was with Joseph in the prison, and he showed him his faithful love. And the Lord made Joseph a favorite with the prison warden. Before long, the warden put Joseph in charge of all of the other prisoners and over everything that happened in the prison. The warden had no more worries because Joseph took care of everything. The Lord was with him and caused everything he did to succeed. Joseph avoided Potiphar's wife as much as possible. He refused her advances and finally had to run away from her. Sometimes merely just trying to avoid temptation is not enough. We must turn and run from it, especially when the temptation is very strong, and is often the case in sexual temptation. All right, thank you, everybody. That's going to wrap up our reading for today. Please come back and see me on the next reading where we'll jump in Genesis chapter 40, verses 1 through 23. Joseph interrupts two dreams. It's been great having y'all as always. Have a good night. God bless.